Yo, what is up guys? Bringing you another commentary today on Warframe and how it's changed over the years. It's been 4 years since it's been in its closed beta. I think they still say that it's in beta stage at the moment, but really, let's be honest, it's been years. Your game is fully fledged. There's so much fucking content. It's not in beta, no matter how much you say it. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they've taken it out of beta, but from my knowledge, it's still in beta. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I wanted today to talk about Warframe, how it's changed over the years. Is it a good thing? And also give my general advice on, you know, people who want to join the game. If you want to be solo, or if you want to be joining with friends, how will you fare within the game, and as well as my general thoughts on Warframe itself. Now, I won't be talking about the community of Warframe because I don't feel I'm well versed in it, because I did play the game for a long time, but then I just stopped playing it. So I don't know anything about related to the community or community changes, because the game might be really good, but Digital Extremes might be doing a really bad job for the community. But I'm here to talk about the game, not the community. So let's do that. So Warframe, one of the greatest things that I've heard about Warframe that's been compared is the way Total Biscuit compared it. He made a video a long time ago, actually not that long, maybe a couple months ago, and he said that Warframe was a ruin built upon a ruin built upon a ruin. I think that's general gist of what he was saying. So, and it's true. What tends to happen is every couple months, every month even, you have updates. You're constantly being updated. There's always constant changes to AI, enemies, sometimes movement, sometimes massive changes that makes the game. They're always adding in new content every couple of months, and I haven't played this game for a couple months, and I joined back, and guess what? I joined back, and there's new frames, there's new weapons, there's new mods, and I just cannot fathom it, because it's like a whole new fucking like part of the game that I have to relearn. And I think that's also another problem. Like, if you do come onto the game, then you do have to learn what you've missed out on. But the game itself, when I joined, I was really stuck with this game. The appeal for the game is not story driven. It's, you know, there's definitely lore that they tease, that they have quests with, that you have your codex quest that you can go do, and if you're a real fan of it, then you can nitpick and find the little lore aspects of the game. But in general, the game's all about finding gear. There's no denying that it's all about finding gear. It's all about gear. It's all about grinding for that gear, grinding for your mods, making your frame the best it can possibly be in the Warframe community, and making your weapons the most badass thing you've ever seen. And also, there's also trading. Okay, the trading is actually pretty good, and you actually learn a few tips and tricks or trading techniques when you actually do it, which is pretty cool, because, you know, I got really good at trading. And that's another thing I'll talk about, is the pay to win aspect of the game, which I don't think is bad. But the game itself, I think if you're a solo player, then it'll work for you for maybe when you start unlocking the maps. Then, you know, you'll be with random people, you just need to unlock all the different planets and stuff. But when you really get to like mid tier, and you've got those frames that, you know, you can go into whatever mission, because, you know, you have enough frames well suited for whatever role you need to be for, what if it's survival missions or if it's an actual raid. And these aspects of the game, you really need to focus on teamwork. This is where teamwork becomes key in the, I'd say, mid to late tier. It becomes key because you really need to work as a team. So if you're a solo player, then you can have fun for a good majority of the time, but when you want to get those high tier gear that you need to grind for, that you have to survive for a very long time, which requires teamwork, which requires communication with people. So I'd say, you know, if you're lucky, then you'd be able to find groups of people sending out invites who are competent at the game. But if you join the clan who are active, who do their survival, they're just their tier missions, and also does their raids, then you will then see Warframe start to really shine, start to see it, the community really shine, because there's so much teamwork involved in this game. When you get to the late tier, you need to communicate, you need to use your Warframes properly. If one guy isn't doing his job in some of the late tiers, then it can ruin the whole playthrough, and it can bring it to an end. You know, if you go down, then someone goes out to get you in a very late tier mission, or late tier survival, or defense, or whatever it is, then it can cost you, it can cost the whole team. And that was one of the greatest aspects that I love about the game, especially when they brought out the raids, because even though the raids, you know, they got very repetitive after a while, but you're still grinding for gear. It's a huge grinding game, don't get that wrong, which may not be an appeal to you, but it definitely is an appeal to some people. That's why a lot of people love World of Warcraft, because once you hit that, you know, that stage in World of Warcraft where you've got nothing to do, it's all about gear then, which is basically this game. It's just about gear, just about finding everything and being the best at the game, and I like that. And even with the raids, we'd be in competition. When I was with the clan I played, we'd be on the top 10 of the raid charts every single day, and that was cool, and that was a very big appeal, because you feel like you've actually done something with a community, and I feel like it's a very community-based game. Now, Digital Extremes loves bringing out content for this game. They love it. They just bombard you with content, and to be honest, it does get a little bit too much for me, especially because you might be hunting for a certain gear, then there's more gear to hunt out, you know, in the space of a couple months, and you're just left with so many things to do that sometimes you can just go crazy with it. But you know, that's just the way the game is. I don't think it's bad that they're adding content, but definitely is sometimes they do bring a lot of content out too quickly, which can mean that whatever you're doing might be just useless, because they might have brought out something better that you can go and hunt for, instead of hunting for whatever it is you were hunting for. And now the pay to win aspect of this game, I think that it's not really a bad thing, because you can definitely get everything. It takes a lot longer to get everything. You can also trade. I've got all my things, all my platinum, platinum is basically what you use for the shop to buy real money, but you can actually trade things and people will give you platinum for it, and that's what I did. The trading system is incredible. I think it's good. You know, you can every fortnight there's a trader guy that comes through. Now you can collect these little tokens by playing certain missions and buy those things. Now what people do is, you know, they buy duplicates because that guy gives out unique items, so they will buy duplicates, and a couple of days ahead of the trading, or even on that day, they'll start selling that to people who don't have those unique items. So the trading system is great, and I think that the pay to win system actually works, because it's not a game where it's PvP. There is PvP, but even in PvP, only given certain guns, you're restricted to certain guns. So I think PvP should be one of the biggest improvements that they need to work on, to be fair, but I never saw it as a PvP game. But the pay to win aspect, if you just want to buy a gun, you want to trade with people and get the really good mods and just spend a shit ton of money on it, you can do that. But that doesn't make it bad for the community. It actually helps people out even more when you're in a game, because if you have, it's a co-op game, it's a team based focus, it's very team focused. So if you have great weaponry, doesn't matter if you've bought it with real money, doesn't matter if you've grinded fucking hours for it, that's gonna benefit your team if you know how to use those weapons and know how to mod properly that you've bought or that you've grinded. So it works well. It doesn't really affect anyone. the only thing, you know, that it might affect your you know, it might affect your pride, or maybe someone's like, oh, you buying everything, you know, we've been grinding for this for so long. But in my general thoughts, if you have the money, then I know you'll be paying for it, especially if you've been playing it for so long, because that's generally some of the grindier stuff takes a huge amount of time. Sometimes it can take forever. They can take a week even. I've grinded a week before just for you know, very specific items, and it can take forever. No, I'm exaggerating when I say it, but it can take a day. It can take a day or two, like actual day, like spending huge amount of hours on the game. And I don't think it's a game that appeals to anyone. Now, if you want to, I feel like the game you should only get into if you're looking for a like a RPG type game where you want to stay with the game for a very long time, because the game is always going to be updated. I don't think it's ever going to change. I think they're always going to keep updating it, and there's always live streams every fortnight where you just bombard you with information, just telling you what they're working on. So they're always working on something, and you can see in your little Warframe ship all the announcements that they put and when the live streams are going to be up, which is, I think it's once a fortnight. So I think it's a good game. I think it's a good experience. It can get very grindy. The problem is that once it gets very grindy, that's just the main problem with those specific types of games, not Warframe. I think that Warframe has become a very successful game now, and if you're going into it, then make sure you go in with friends. Make sure you go in find a clan, because that's where you'll find the best experience, and that's where you'll be taught things, especially with a clan that's been around for a long time. They'll teach you, they'll show the ropes, and I think it's a great game. I don't play it anymore because I've been in that spot of, you know, those types of like games where it's so appealing to me that I get stuck with it for hours and hours on end. I'm always on the game. That's how I used to be. I'd come on after school. Like, I would probably have my channel dedicated to Warframe back then if I stuck with it, but gladly I didn't, because the appeal over time wore off with me, because it's just, you have to grind the game. You have to grind for everything, which is, you know, the biggest disadvantage of these types of games. But the game doesn't pretend to be anything other than a gear finding game, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So I really have no problems with it. I don't have a huge issue with the game. I think they change for the better, sometimes they change for the worse, but they are community driven, so they listen to what the community wants. Their fucking art competitions, fucking Warframe competitions, fucking weapon competitions that gets implemented into the game. So they're always looking out for the community, I feel. Maybe sometimes they don't. They might not actually be looking after the community, because I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not keeping up. But my general thoughts is that, you know, they bring out good stuff. They bring out good content. A lot of it may be fucking ridiculous to grind for. I know some of the new ones that I first saw took forever, but that's just, you know, the grindiness of the game, which appeals to some people and appeals to others. But yeah, that's what I really thought. That's my rant, I guess, or just throwing out just how my thought process is with the game. But I mean, the game itself, it's good, and I'd recommend it to anyone if that type of grindiness appeals to you. If you want to go look for gear, if the game itself is like, the action and the experience you have with the gunplay it's so satisfying. It's a satisfying shooter as well. It's a very satisfying third-person shooter. So I recommend it to anyone who wants to stick to a game for a long time, who wants to find a community within a game that probably will last a very long time and is doing very well for itself. So yeah, it's my general thoughts, but hope you enjoyed this commentary. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more from me, then all you gotta do is subscribe. But as always, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Peace out, guys.
Sip on my coffee as I write another hit. At times I get cocky, so I keep a joint lit. That rhymes. T-shirt the same color.